Let's spread more insight in a world clouded by noise. What if the opinion that's holding you back doesn't even matter? What if the shame you feel, the pressure to impress, the constant measuring against others was all fiction? The Stoics didn't ignore judgment. They transcended it, because caring what others think gives your soul away for free. And in this video, we'll explore exactly how they achieved that. Part 1. The poison of opinion. Let's start with the truth that most avoid. Caring what people think is a form of slavery. You're not acting from reason. You're reacting from fear. Social approval has become the modern currency of worth. Instagram likes, comments, applause. But the Stoics saw this as a trap, a cage made of invisible bars. It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but we care more about their opinions than our own. Every time you hesitate to speak your truth, every time you edit your life to avoid criticism, every time you chase applause over integrity, you are being ruled, not by law, not by tyranny, but by perception. Why Stoics dismissed praise and criticism. The Stoics believed praise and blame were both distractions from virtue. To them, the only thing that mattered was your own moral character. Everything else was externals: fame, wealth, status, and yes, opinion. Seneca said, "What you think of me is none of my business." Okay, he didn't use those words exactly, but he lived them. He wrote about contempt for public praise, not because it was evil, but because it made people weak. Praise makes you a servant to someone else's preferences. Epictetus taught his students, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. He was training them to let go of reputation because it had no bearing on truth. And Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome, wrote, "Soon you will have forgotten all things, and soon all things will have forgotten you." Part 3. Modern slavery to perception. Today's world rewards appearance over substance. We scroll endlessly. We perform constantly. We adjust our image to fit a brand, an audience, an algorithm. But what are we losing? Authenticity, mental peace, moral courage. Imagine not needing validation. Imagine living your values in silence without needing applause. That is Stoic freedom. Part 4. How to detach from opinion. Here's how the Stoics practiced it, and how you can too. 1. Write down your values. If you don't know what you stand for, you'll fall for likes. Seneca journaled nightly to evaluate his behavior, not for others, but for himself. 2. Embrace misjudgment. Let people misinterpret you. Let them call you names. As Epictetus said, if you're ever tempted to look for outside approval, realize that you have compromised your integrity. 3. Practice being disliked. Try saying no more often. Try speaking your truth without softening it. Observe your emotional response. Train it, harden it, let it pass. 4. Focus on virtue, not vanity. Vanity dies fast. Virtue doesn't. Ask, what would Marcus do when you're tempted to prove yourself? Part 5. Examples from Stoic history. Cato the Younger wore the same dull robe every day in the Roman Senate, not because he couldn't afford more, but because he refused to play the game of vanity. People mocked him, called him backward, but they couldn't control him. Musonius Rufus was exiled for speaking truth to power. He didn't beg, didn't whine. He taught philosophy in exile. A philosopher's job is not to be liked, but to speak the truth. Marcus Aurelius led Rome during war and plague. Every word he wrote in Meditations was meant for himself, not for history, not for admiration. This man held absolute power and still reminded himself daily, don't chase reputation, chase character. Part 6. The freedom of inner strength. To not care what people think isn't apathy, it's alignment. You care deeply, but only about what matters: integrity, virtue, reason, justice, wisdom. What if you gave yourself permission to stop pleasing everyone? What if you started asking, not what will they think, but is this true to who I am? The Stoics weren't cold. They were clear, and that clarity gave them courage. You can be kind and firm. You can be compassionate and unshakable. You can love and still walk alone. So stop living for applause, start living by principle. And if that makes people uncomfortable, good. You weren't born to blend in, you were born to be whole. Thank you for watching. If this gave you something to reflect on, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Together, we rise above the noise and reclaim the power of ancient truth in modern life. Until next time, remember, you are not their opinion, you are your character.